I see a great and powerful energy now connected with America, one that will create an enormous pull across the whole world. It is as if fundamental and opposing life realities are colliding, carrying massive explosive power. What is becoming visible here is energetically, and it is much more than politics or opinions. These are realities that can no longer exist side by side. They are so opposite that they shake the foundation of an entire nation. And because America is karmically and energetically so closely linked with the whole world, and especially with Israel and Germany, these tremors will also be strongly felt all over the world, in the societies, in families, and within each of us. I'm a medium and a Vedic astrologer. I have worked for many years with energy fields and collective consciousness, and what I perceive now is so intense that we must prepare ourselves. This is not about panic, not about one person or one party. It goes much deeper. It is a karmic split felt in the souls of people and mirrored in the very land, in the energetic grids of all countries. This energy is like tectonic pressure, building stronger and stronger. And we are at the point where it will be decided whether this pressure breaks out in destruction, like a world war, or becomes the birth of something completely new and important for humanity. From a karmic perspective, a great shadow hangs over America. From the last decades, covered CIA operations that fueled countless conflicts and wars worldwide. The trauma of 9/11, still filled with lies and cover-ups. And the self-image of acting as the world's policeman, while power and control move in the background. This energetic weight can no longer be suppressed. It rises to the surface, now more than ever, because it must be seen and released. And this is what creates the enormous tension we all feel. Yet, what I see, what is happening, is not limited to the United States, because the United States has been tied to the world for decades, politically, economically, and militarily. This rupture affects the entire Earth. Energy always follows the law of resonance, and this means when such a split erupts at the center of the world power, it also opens hidden cracks in other countries. We are already witnessing it in Europe, in Germany, even in our own families. And as threatening as this may seem at first, within it also lies the opportunity, because before a new consciousness can be born, the old illusions must break apart. America is going through its darkest night, but within that night lies the chance for a new, truer form of freedom. One not based on control and deception, but on clarity, truth and resonance. America is not only closely connected with the world, it has repeatedly used this connection ruthlessly for its own interests. Entire nations were destabilized or ruined, such as Libya or Iraq. Behind the political apparatus operate networks of intelligence agencies, the military-industrial complex, the large tech corporations, and also the close entanglement with Israel, which has a decisive influence on US policy. All of this has created a field based on control, manipulation, and exploitation. For decades, it could be covered up, but now it rises to the surface. Because karmic energy cannot be suppressed forever. It demands balance. It demands truth. And that is why we now feel this massive tension. When I look at these energetic fields, I see dark patterns that have built up more and more, patterns we have accepted to such an extent that we hardly see them as wrong or dangerous anymore. Until we are suddenly surprised because the tension discharges in a way that can come unexpectedly. But the decisive point is this. This discharge does not only mean chaos and collapse. Energetically, it is like a metamorphosis. America is dissolving in its old structures, just as a caterpillar dissolves completely in its cocoon before becoming a butterfly. From the outside, it may look like destruction, but in truth, it is the process by which a new form is born. The darkness now coming to the surface, the corruption, the manipulation, the control, is nothing but the last cry of an old system that is losing its power. And as painful as it is, behind it lies the chance for something entirely new, something more truthful. These networks of intelligence agencies, the military-industrial complex, the tech giants, and the deep entanglement with Israel's influence have all created an energetic field of control and exploitation. For years we have seen the signs, wars, deceptions, power games. But now another quality emerges. The masks are falling. The facade is breaking. The unseen becomes visible. And this is where the danger lies, because we no longer expect it, until we are surprised, when the pressure discharges in an eruption that can come at any moment. In the moment the masks fall, the old reacts with full force, because it knows its time is ending. We are now experiencing the most dangerous part of the process. Artificially created crises, sudden escalations, and a deliberate stirring of fear. All of this are the last reflexes of a system that is trying to survive at any cost. And we now see it in its most brutal form. The greatest genocide since the Nazi era is happening right now in Gaza, before the eyes of the whole world. Millions of people are calling for peace and justice, but governments act against their own populations. They support wars, justify oppression, and remain silent about crimes. Meanwhile, the elites, they try to cover up their cruel agenda, silencing, censoring, or even murdering journalists. And not only journalists. Yet, no matter how hard they try, the light breaks through every crack, and more people see what is truly happening. But this battle does not only take place in the power centers of the world. It is mirrored in all of us. The shadows we have long suppressed within ourselves are also rising. Old wounds, hidden fears, unresolved conflicts, all are surfacing. And so the collective field forces us to take a stand inwardly. Where do we truly stand when the old structures are shaking? And this makes it clearer. This is not just political theater that will calm down again. It is a rupture in the foundation itself. Entire alliances are breaking apart, societies are dividing, and even the inner cohesion of the United States is thinning. Energetically, I see the connections tearing, and with them the old fabric of the world. This rupture is irreversible. Yet it is not about feeding the old by giving it more energy through our anger and rejection. The new, energetically, is already here on earth. It is growing within us as we connect with these new energy fields through our inner alignment with every breath. This happens when we look at the old layers within ourselves that bind us. Negative beliefs, false ideas of power, illusions of separation and helplessness. This is exactly where the change begins. We must understand everything manifests first on the energetic level. When we begin to expose and release these patterns within ourselves, the collective field also shifts. The cry for healing from the earth, from the nations, from the souls, cannot be ignored, neither for our own healing nor for the future we long for. Because the moment we choose clarity, truth and love within, we plant the seeds for the world that already exists and give it the strength to manifest. When I look at America, I see 3 irreversible movements. The first is the splitting of the Union. Entire states will break away because they no longer recognize the old power center in DC. They will begin to form their own systems with their own laws, their own identity, detached from federal control. What we today know as the United States will no longer exist in the same form. The second movement is the great unveiling. The intelligence agencies, above all the CIA, will be exposed. Decades of wars, manipulations, and covert operations will come to light. The Epstein scandal is only a gateway into an entire system of corruption, abuse, and entanglement that reaches into the highest levels. Millions of people will realize that those old institutions were not what they believed. And the third movement is the fall of leaders, still standing in the spotlight today. Donald Trump will not be the savior many see in him. He will be pulled into this current, just like other leaders of this old game. Truth does not only break institutions, it also shatters the masks of those leaders. This is America's darkest night. Yet out of the collapse, something new will arise. Communities breaking free from the old. People living by their true values. A new foundation, not longer built on control and deception. America will lose its role as the world's policeman. And in that lies its chance to rediscover itself. And the United States They are in the epicenter of this global shift. The greatest superpower will break apart, and the entire world order shakes. And everywhere the masks will fall, also in Europe, in Germany as well. Because only when the masks fall, only when the darkness becomes visible, can the new truly appear. And as hard as this process is, it leads to a deeper cleansing, to a rebirth that reaches far beyond the United States. And we can already feel it, governments acting against their own people, everywhere. Elites pushing wars and crises, while the people, they cry out for peace and justice. And this pattern is global, and it is now visible in every country. But just as much, the new is growing everywhere. In communities, in movements, in the hearts of the people. And that will no longer remain silent. The real question is not what happens to America, but how we all, as humanity, will move through this transformation. Because in the end, it is not about the fall of a nation, but about the birth of a new consciousness on earth. Every breath in which you transform your own shadows, every choice of clarity, truth and love strengthens this field. The question is no longer whether this change will come. It is already here. The only question is, with what frequency you will help shape it. So be prepared. And I love you. Share this important video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This is a small gift you can give me back for my work. And have an amazing good day. We will rock it.